whilst we listen to the jingle, just a 2 minute summary of what jobs is all about, I'll implore us to start preparing our questions down and also our comments ahead of this session. So in just um, in just a few seconds, I'll just share um, my screen for us to see.
Hello.
Yes, Engineer, if you just hold on,
Okay.
just hold on. Just want to share my screen for us to see.
Hello everyone, my name is Bamidele Idris. I founded Get Jobs in 2017, a fast-growing job platform in Nigeria with the desire to bring job opportunities and career development to every unemployed youth. In Nigeria, where unemployment is currently pegged at 23.1% and may hit 33.5% in 2021. This is according to Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA. I set up this group to bridge the gap between employers and employees. We started this group in 2017 with just 10 members, and we have risen to over 25,000 members in August 2020. We have over 300 documented job successes. Get Jobs has partnered with over 20 organizations and several top professionals. According to Mark Zuckerberg, the challenge for our generation is creating a world where everyone has a sense of purpose. To keep our society moving forward, we have a generational challenge to not only create new jobs, but create a sense of purpose. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So, just a few ground rules before we start. Could you help us reduce the volume of um, any voice, anything that is might disturb the session? I've been hearing some background noises. So, if we have any questions, we can raise up our hands, and our speaker today, Engineer Badru, will be able to note all the questions down. So, thank you so very much. And just for us to know that we are putting the session live on Facebook. I've actually shared the Facebook link. We are spooling right now. So we're spooling the session live on Facebook, and we're also recording this session. So um, so thank you so very much, Engineer Badru. You have the floor.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. I would like to thank Engineer Idris Bamidele for the opportunity he's given me today to present this, to do this presentation on a topic that many of us are familiar with and we have interest in. I share in his passion to have as many engineers employed in all the sectors where they're employable. And today's topic is like a reminder to all of us engineers that we need to do something about our ability to get employed in the market. The opportunities may not be open to us as we want them to be, but the opportunities are there if we only know how to assess them. For years now, I've been in the business of recruiting, and I have a company that recruits for jobs in the oil and gas for projects that are in all the most of the segments of the oil and gas. And recent times, we'll be having projects in the area of energy, in particular in that sector where gas is being used to generate power. So when he spoke to me about this, I said, oh, okay, I will see what I can do. So I have a presentation. I don't know if you can put it on the screen as the host. It's a PowerPoint. And it's titled How to Be More Marketable as an Engineer in Nigeria. Yes, I can see it on the screen now. And in the intro, I have a question for us engineers. Are we marketing ourselves successfully? Yes, we have top people always in demand in engineering, in oil and gas, and manufacturing sectors. Must it just be about the top candidates? What about engineers who have passed in at the middle cadre or even at the lower cadre of the graduating class or classes, as it may be? What chances do they have? Would we say that, oh, everything is done and finished for them? That is, there is no room for them to aspire to be engineers? I would like to say clearly today that that is not the case. But a lot depends on the individual. Competition is so much, yes, true. And there's need to have the right technical skills and work experience to get good paying jobs. But more importantly is the need for that engineer to develop an inner salesperson in he or herself to get noticed. And when you get noticed, you're on your way to getting recognized to take up an appointment. So in the intro, can I have the next slide, please? Are you a salesperson apart from being an engineer? Can you sell yourself as a brand? Is it something inside of you that you're determined to make a success of what you have achieved so far in the area of engineering, the discipline of engineering in which you find yourself? Marketing yourself is about identifying the needs of your target audience. That's your prospective employer, and positioning yourself to meet their wish list. That is, you make yourself to be that person they need. The ideal candidate, to be the ideal candidate, you need to offer a close to perfect solution to the needs and challenges faced by your potential employer. Please, can you change the slide? Can you host? Change the slide. Yes. What are the prospects for the engineer today to do well in life, in a successful career, in an unpredictable environment like Nigeria? As engineers, we need to understand that just like when we design machines and equipment and all of that, we can also do something to ourselves. We can revamp ourselves, even though we are not the original designer and we didn't come up with the drawings of our lives and the purposes for our lives. But we can start off with the basis of success for an engineer. What is the basis for success? Why am I going into the basis? I'm a chemical engineer and I've been privileged over the years to work in tandem with all kind of engineers, from academia to practical engineers to hands-on, practical engineers. And I found out that there is a common basis. And I've also been privileged to be an external examiner, one to the chemical engineering and chemical and petroleum engineering department of one of the leading universities in Nigeria. And I know that quite a number of engineers or graduates, even while they're in school, have been disenchanted. They've been, the future has always looked bleak. The opportunities, when they start it out, they don't find these opportunities. I've seen engineers who have become drummers, gong drummers, talking drum drummers. I've seen a young man about to graduate, and he was asked, what do you want to do with this certificate when you get it, during the defense of his dissertation? And his answer was, I'm going back to my place to be a politician. And I was aghast. He had spent 5 years just about to graduate, and the only thing he could think about was to go into politics, which is not a bad thing, really. But one would have thought that with what he was going to get, he will strive at least hard enough to find something to do with it. So what are the basics that we need for success in engineering, just as in many of the other fields? We should be solution oriented. We should be creative. Many engineers, when they're out with a certificate, it's like, oh, I've done it and it's all over. No. It is just the beginning. You have only just started. If you're a chemical engineer and your project was in biotechnology, for example, you'll be thinking about what can you use yeast to do? How can you produce better alcohol with your yeast and molasses or with sugar and all the rest of that? In mechanical engineering, what equipment can you produce with the rudiments of what you learned in the university for a particular need in maybe the agro-allied industry or something? And I have seen quite a number of success stories that have developed from this kind of attitude, to be solution oriented. You also have to be creative. You have to be creative. And that's why we're here today. We want to create a new person in ourselves, how to successfully market ourselves for the next. I hope I'm being heard. And then again, we also need to be, because of time, I need to run, move faster now. Technology, we need knowledge in technology, insight in technology, based on maths, the principles of maths, of science. And then we have to be determined to stand out in the market. Engineers don't stand out in the market. We go to the same marketplace as the lawyers, as the architects, as the accountants. But are we standing out in that market? We ask ourselves, how do we stand out in the market? We should stand out in the market to be able to say these are the areas that are contributing something meaningful in the market. And these are the teams that are working on those areas. And that we are a part of it, whether we are the team lead or the junior engineer or the intern. We have to be determined to stand out in the market. Then we need focus. For the young man I said he was going to politics, or the young lady that became a talking drummer, they just lost focus. We have to be focused. And when you are focused, you must understand that, yes, you may find one or two successful engineers out there in the market that you so much like, would like to have them to be your role models. But are you focused enough to say, I want to do whatever I can to get to where these people are? And that takes for you to begin to develop yourself in those fields that you were trained in the university, in design, in fabrication, in production, and be talking about it. You cannot be an engineer and not mention things to do with engineering in a day. Testing methods, improvement of systems in the industry. Yes, you may not be there, working there today, but you have a good laptop and you have friends in the industry. You can start from wherever you are, even from your bedroom. Engineers are versatile. We must work on our versatility. I have seen engineers, though in my mind, who lost it, working in banks, and they're not with the MBA that can really move them up in the banking sector. They find themselves just being tellers and people who are just right there behind the, 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 the table there, answering, paying checks and receiving checks and all of that. Yes, that makes them versatile. That makes them responsible. But there's need for them to take up even more responsibilities in those areas where they have been trained. Banks have utilities. They need diesel. They work with generators. They're all going into renewable energy and working with solar panels, etc., etc. What are we doing? What are you doing as an engineer? Are you providing solutions? Hello? Hello?
We are with you, bro. We are with you.
Okay, something
We
went
are
on.
with you, sir.
So it's important that we get it right from the basis. And that's where I am right now, our versatility. Then, of course, we come to building on our foundation. As engineers, we're passed through how many years of schooling? First is the 6, then we have the 3, then we have the 5. I'm talking about years now. And for some people who went to university when there are strikes and ASU and all of these things, the 5 may be 6 or 7 number of years. So, and you have passed exams. You have math ability to solve mathematical questions and science-related subjects. We need to build on this foundation. Hello. We need to, as engineers, we need to build on this foundation. And how do we build? We have to be enthusiastic. Many years ago, when I was in secondary school, I had a house pastor who mentioned the word enthusiasm for the first time in my ears. And from that day, I've never lost it. We need enthusiasm. The system that we have today does not make a lot of people enthusiastic about anything. They look at themselves and they say, oh, I'm an engineer, I have this degree, and nothing to show for it. That kills your enthusiasm. But rather, build on what you have. Start from where you are. And start even with your lecturers, your mates, your juniors, your seniors, and even try to reach out. Telling people that you are a mechanical engineer, an electrical engineer, whatever discipline is your engineering. Go out there and begin to make yourself heard. Be problem solving. Talk about the problem and the likely solutions. COVID-19 is around. I heard yesterday, government said, oh, we're going to build 38 new oxygen, liquid oxygen plants. And I smiled to myself, how many engineers were in that panel that came up with the decision? Why 38? Are they saying that there are no plants existing? What are the problems, the existing problems with the oxygen plants that we have presently? Why are they not meeting capacity? What is the gap? Why do you have to make it 38? You are looking at the states instead of the economics, the engineering. Engineers are supposed to be economists too. We understand economies of scale issues. Every state doesn't need to have an oxygen plant, for goodness sake. So let us be problem solving. We need to communicate. We need to relate with others, our peers in other fields. Talk about our desires realistically and let them know that we are team players, even as a junior engineer. I remember many years ago, my first job was with Lennon Petroleum and Petrochemical. It was the very first job. There were 3 chemical engineers in the team, and we designed the first indigenous lubricating plant at Tisolo. Yes, the big players had built their own. In Ajib had one in Kaduna, if I'm not wrong. Texaco had something in Apapa at that time. Mobile had a very fantastic lubricants plant. Also had a plant for what do you call them now? Things that make all this fleet, you know, mosquito repellents and all of that. Wonderful one there. But our team, young as we were able to develop something which the company was proud of at the time. That plant is still existing today, even though they have changed hands. So we need to communicate and be a good team player. And we need to have a good understanding of engineering products and solutions so that when we talk, people will listen and say, this guy or this person has something. So we need to build on our foundation. We cannot do it alone. So teamwork is required. Always look forward to joining a good team and working in a group. Be willing to brainstorm positively. That was what we were doing in our design groups in the university those days, brainstorming and trying to come up with the best solutions to the design problems, even though it was not a real problem, but that's what we did. Then we should compare suggestions, ideas, and findings. So these are things that will enhance our employability. Let us never forget our math skills. It's going to come in handy. Even during interviews, you could have just that small problem given to you, and you would need your skills to quickly, tabulate and come up with solutions to engineering problems. So your calculus, your statistics, your ability to do what they call when you go to your first interview, aptitude test. For your aptitude test, you need all of these to come in handy. and they will be useful to you. Are you still hearing me?
We are hearing you, bro.
Yes,
We are
sir. Yes,
hearing
sir.
you.
We are hearing you.
I don't know what happened. I am not, but let me continue where I am. Yes, I can see the screen now. Yes, communication. Can I have the next slide? You know, I've devised a method here. I'm actually using two devices. So I'm still on building on
Have you write it?
uh,
Just
on foundation.
bring it now. It's a
Then
notebook
we
for this
take,
lesson. Write it down so
hello,
we'll discuss it.
We are with you, bro. We
build
are with
on,
you. We are
thank
with
you.
you.
We can hear you. We can
So
hear
the
you.
next, yeah, building on good foundation. Then we take the examples of famous and successful engineers and take them up as role models. There are so many of them around. And there's no one that you walk up to, you know, and speak well about yourself and your need to be associated with him that would not give it a second thought, even though you may be very junior to him or her. People are always willing to mentor, but or to be role models. There are two different things. A mentor is someone you know that you want to be like, to disciple you. A role model is someone you want to be like. May not know you, she may not know you, but you've seen one or two things that he or she has done, and you want to play a role like that, and you're looking forward to. So there are two different things. So uh, these examples are people that you can look up to and believe in yourself that one day you also get that, but you really need to work. So experience is key. You need experience. But mind you, you don't need that experience that, oh, I must work in Shell. Okay, I must work in, even if it's not Shell, maybe a, a company that is doing some work for Shell, or a company that is doing so much work for. No. If you get that, fine. But believe you me, start where you are. Need experience with family. What's the family business? What are your parents doing? What is mommy selling that you can add some value to? Get involved. It's part of experience. Get your hands dirty. From there, you can see an uncle may come around and say, oh, I have a small project in the village. I need somebody to help me with the number of sand and cement. Get involved in it. Get some experience. Know how to count money, for instance. Many graduates today, they come out of the university, well, except the girls. I don't know how they manage it, but they will be able to count money. You give them money to count, and they're counting it 3, 4 times because they're not just used to things to do with business. To achieve success, we need hard work. We need to be hardworking. So, to be hardworking, you need more professional qualifications, memberships, certifications that you can lay your hands on and be proficient in. It doesn't mean that, oh, for instance, you could go and do HSC 1, 2, and 3, and then you're thinking, oh, it's health, safety, and environment now the line of career that I have. No, 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 no. But it gives you, it places you at a higher level than somebody who hasn't done that course before. It makes you, you know, a much valued person when you eventually get that job that you're aiming and striving to get. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. Be competitive. Okay, there's another one that I want to miss. I don't want to miss. And that's shadowing professional. This is about getting practical insight from others. from, somebody you know in the society, somebody, an engineer that you would like to be, maybe a little senior to you or much senior to you, but you need practical insight. So you shadow this person, you get as much practical insight from him as you can. And that gives you, it places you at a higher level because you are built on your foundation. Be competitive. We all want well-paying jobs. But are we competitive enough? Is our CV, how have you written your CV? Have you lied there that you have done this and that, and you really haven't? People can tell. I once was looking for a safety person for an independent oil company, and I had some fantastic CVs. And the white man was going to employ them, looked at the CVs. He says, we all are aware that Nigerians have very good CVs, but how many of them can do what they have written on paper? So he was saying they have not described some of the achievements they've had doing anything on those roles that they claim they have worked as. For instance, if you have been a manager or a coordinator or whatever it is on a particular job where you have worked before with your present employer, can you tell of that small thing that you achieved, that achievement that when you came up with it, saved the company, instead of telling us, oh, I saw this, I saw that, and all of that. People are hardly hoodwinked now when you tell all kinds of stories with your CV. And always tailor that CV to the needs of that employer. Don't make your CV generic. Even the cover letter should not be generic. It should meet what you think is the need of the company that you're aspiring to join. Internships, volunteering, and taking up of part-time jobs, they go a long way in helping you to be a successful engineer. I remember the first intern that came to my office, he's graduated now, he didn't want to stay. But after a month or two, and I was not paying him except for transportation, and I gave him everything. Well, I calculated lunch and transport. But by the time he finished with us, he didn't want to go again. Even after he finished his time in the university, and there was time between that time and this service, he came to do some work with us. You need this kind of thing if you're a young engineer. You cannot just be waiting for that big break. It never happens. You have to go through the grill. You need to go through the grill to build on that foundation. Having said that, I want to go on another level about marketing ourselves effectively. How do we market ourselves effectively? Number one, know your audience. Your audience is that or are there potential new employers that you want to join? And if you want to really know your target audience, you need to do some market research. You need to ask questions, and you need to know what they are and understand what they are looking for, the type of engineers they are looking for. Do as much research as you can about these organizations of interest and establish the skills, knowledge, and types of applicants they value highly. If they're looking for hands-on people, please do go get that ability to work with your hands and getting your hands dirty. It is also important to know about what kind of person we are. before we, start looking for a target audience. What kind of person are you? This is not in the slides. Are you a cerebral person as an engineer or a hands-on person? Cerebral people will always like to document things, write out things, and put things on paper, which most of us do. But I've seen quite a number of hands-on people who are not just there. You just find them not interested. When they put anything down, it's because, oh, they just have to. They are there in the plant, troubleshooting, doing this, fixing that. What kind of person are you? Then you know your audience based on that. And then you work on researching that audience and getting them to be interested in you. Through many ways. We'll get to that later. Can I have the next slide, please? If possible, you can go to those who are working in those places or people who have worked there before to get inside information about the place. And then when you are called for interview, let them know and understand that you have some information, knowledge about them. You have some knowledge about them. And tailor your answers and even your questions to their recent business activities, the activities they do. Also, work with the internet. Work with the internet. There are so many things online now. And I would like to implore us, especially the younger engineers, to use the social platforms they are in professionally, more professionally. Stop linking up to blogs on fashion, on areas where you are only just burning money and you are not getting anything meaningful in return. Yes, you may know the next fashion that's coming up, but do you have the money to buy? Just want to talk about it? By the time you start working professionally, you won't even have time to be looking at fashion. You will have problems needing solutions, and you have to find those solutions. So, next slide, please. Let us know our audience. The next is to sharpen our skills. We need to sharpen our skills regularly. We need to know more about design regularly. If there are any knowledge gaps, there are so many apps today in mechanical engineering, in process, in name it. New applications are coming up, new design methods, even for other areas apart from maintenance, for all of that. Are you sharpening your skills? Are you up to date with the knowledge gaps? Also, look for extra training in areas where you feel you lack experience. Where you decline a job, ask for feedback from the company about how your performance lacked impact. Get to know. Don't say, oh, like Nigerians will want to do, they just didn't give me the job. No, you didn't fit for the job. If you were the perfect fit, even if they had candidates, they'll jettison the candidate for you, except if he or she is the son or daughter of the owner of the business. So let's sharpen our skills. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Identify your unique selling skills. We all have unique selling skills. There is no person that is not unique in one way or the other. What is unique about you in engineering? Are you safety conscious? Are you quality conscious? Are you production conscious? Are you soft skills conscious. Whatever skill that you know can sell you, please do everything to sell yourself with it. It could also be your particular mix of past work. The combination. What that means is you've been in production before, you've been in marketing before, you've been in technical sales before. What kind of past work have you done? You can use it to sell yourself. It could be a combination of your academic training and hands-on experience. And it could be about your personal interests or qualities, such as being a person of integrity, your creativity, or useful life skills that would enhance your performance on the job. Because performance is what is really, really important. Once you've identified what makes you a strong, attractive candidate with an interesting edge, sell this selling point. We remember the story of David against Goliath. He didn't wear the armor of the king, which was readily available. He took 5 stones and a sling, and that did the job. So what do you have that can do the job? Sell that thing. Sell it well, and you'll go places. Next slide, please. Remember to sell your soft skills. Many times people think about only their technical skills when it comes to engineering. But it's a lot more than that. Your technical know-how, yes. But will it be enough? You can't know more than your boss. Will it be enough to get you there? No. There's more. Are you well-rounded socially, spiritually? Can you write technical reports? Can you communicate well? Can you relate with partners, representatives of partners when they come around, maybe to stay for a week or two, and they say, oh, Mr. Badiru, you are the one to go around, let them know the city. If you've been a technical person all your life, you know where to go. And it will be a drab, and then recommendations may come based on that, and you've lost it. So you need brilliant soft skills, brilliant communication skills, leadership potential, lateral thinking. Can you talk about, the politics in America, the Cold War between America and China, etc.? Those are soft skills that you need in getting yourself well-rounded. Please, can I have next slide? Get up to date. Keep reading about interesting advancements and developments in engineering. One thing doctors don't fail to do, and accountants do, is that they keep reading advancements, developments in their fields. In engineering, yes, we do it, but we've not been doing it so much. How many times have we bought journals from our societies in mechanical, in agricultural, in chemical? The books are there, the journals are there, but we just don't go there. Strong industry knowledge and awareness of current trends are always appreciated. You may just be there with someone and you're talking with that person and you don't know who that person is in a conference. And then you hit him with what he's been looking for all this while. And he says, gives you his card, and next thing you get a job. So get up to date. Know what is trending in that sector you are most interested in. If you are interested in renewable energy, if you are interested in agro-allied, whatever area you're interested in, please get up to date with it. Next slide, please. Build your network. I know we all are familiar with this. We work on our networks in church, in our professions. everywhere we go, our villages. But we need to develop our network to let people know that we are engineers. We need to reach out to people in the engineering and manufacturing field and get to know them as much as possible. And we need to keep in regular contact with our network. I remember a friend of mine who later became president in the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He had a very strong network. He was not working in Shell or Chevron, but he knew people and he will remember your name. That's one thing I found out about him. When he sees you, he will remember your name and he will ask you about that person he knows who knows you too, that friend of yours. Attend industry events as much as possible where you can meet face to face and form relationships in real time. It's a fundamental and very effective tool for marketing ourselves. And with this, I go to the next segment. Please, next slide, please. How do we stay marketable? And that speaks to those who have jobs and those who don't have jobs. It's about making ourselves indispensable, making ourselves known for what we are. If you're a manager, are you indispensable in that setting? Then I can tell you, they may ask you to go the next day. And when you are indispensable to your current employer, definitely you will be irresistible to a prospective one, especially if you're in the same industry, because questions will be asked. Who is the utilities manager in that place making wonders? Why are their downtime so small? Why is it that they don't have issues like this, like we are having? Why is it that they are well informed about what's going to happen in government, at the ports, in logistics before us? There's somebody there who seems to know everything. And then they begin to look for that person. To stay marketable is a commitment to continually expand your skills and knowledge. Don't say, I know it all. Nobody knows it better than me in this office. They're already looking for somebody in the next factory or in the next company. Stay competitive and in a strong position to compete for jobs in different market contexts. I remember many years ago, an uncle of mine who was MD of a blue chip. I'm not saying this, I'm saying this with all sense of humility, and I will not be mentioning his name. He told me that he was still applying for jobs from newspapers. And I asked him, Uncle, why? You have everything. He said, so that I can know my worth. I know I won't change jobs, but I just want to know what salary I can attract if I leave this job. And at that time, I was still naive and inexperienced. And I was wondering, why do you have to waste your time? You're already an MD. But now I know better. Please, next slide. Next slide, please. Upgrade your skills. Keep your skills fresh, current, and relevant. It is the best way to stay marketable. Your company has plans. Are you in alignment with their plans? Are you also, for those who are looking for jobs, are you in alignment with the plans of the potential employers? Because if you are not, you are out of sync with where you want to go, then how do you think you'll get that job? Identify any gaps that needs addressing to position yourself as a highly valued employee. Focus on developing your transferable skills in leadership, communication, technology. It will be a smart investment for you should you need to do something else in your career in future. We have seen engineers who have turned out to be very good administrators, ambassadors, politicians, whatever. Upgrade your skills. And you find out that they have to always come back to that foundation we talked about. Always going back to the basis, which we earlier mentioned. Can we have the next slide? Next slide, please. Expand your learning. Commit yourself to continuous learning. Strengthening your qualifications. Make it important to strengthen your qualifications so that the value you represent to your current employer goes up. I have, in my company, I employed a young man, was in his early 30s, but he had no degree. But he had something. He knew people in the industry. And for that reason, I took him up. And he had city and guilds from a school in Ghana. I never went there to check if it was true or not. But one day he came back to me and said, "Okay, I want to share this good news with you." I said, "Yes, what is it?" He said, "I have just been given my certificate, my BSc certificate." I said, "Oh, wonderful. Where, which university you've been coming to work? How did you?" He said he was doing the Nigerian University, and he got a degree in computer science and something. I can't remember what it was now. And then after I left there, I said, "This guy, he realizes his weakness. Yes, he may know people and all of that, but he doesn't have a degree, like everybody else. And if opportunity comes, how is he going to manage it?" And for that reason, I moved him up too. So let's expand our learning. New skills, in-house training, distance learning, online courses, workshops, conferences. Let them be key to our plans in staying marketable. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Refresh your resume. Don't let your resume gather dust in your computer. Talk about your real-time achievements, not those technical things that you think, oh, if you put it there, then you can beat it up. No, 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 no. Talk about where you have been relevant in what you are doing and how well you have coped with difficulties, so that when the opportunities come, you can arise to the occasion. I just mentioned the case of David and Goliath. In his resume, he said he had killed a lion and a bear that wanted to eat one of his sheep. He didn't say he had been a warrior in some battles in the past. He talked about where he was coming from. Let's talk real about where we're coming from. Keep samples of your best work and update your resume with tangible examples of your accomplishments, such as improving business processes or contributing to the bottom line, which is very key. As an examiner of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, I see a lot of people in their reports, technical reports, work experience, they tell you all kinds of jumbo to try and impress you. In fact, there was a particular case of a professor who was shaking. I said, "Professor, but you wrote this report from the university." I'm not lying. He was shaking and shivering. I was sweating profusely. I have to tell him, "Go get a little breather. You wrote this report, and I'm only asking simple questions. I don't know anything. I'm only learning with wisdom. as the examiner. So let us not try to think that, oh, it is when you write all this big grammar that it's going to make sense to the other party. No, they want to solve a problem and they're looking for the solution provider. Keeping a record of your achievement is also a good reminder of the value you add to your current role. So keep records of your achievements, no matter how small, and add them, achievements. Put a that little achievement down in your resume, and you'll be surprised how far it can go. Next slide, please. Be flexible. Be flexible, meaning that keep an open mind. Don't say it has to be manufacturing or nothing. It has to be oil and gas or nothing. It has to be consulting or nothing. They may be looking for somebody like you in a bank. They may be looking for somebody like you in an NGO. Please, let's be flexible. And it's not going to harm your career. Let's be, your preferences, yes, you can have them, but be open and see what additional career opportunities are there. You may also need to reconsider your expectations on salary, job type, and all of that. So always keep your options open. Avoid limiting your employability. Next slide, please. Expand your network. We talked about network last time, but we're talking now about expanding our network. We need to constantly look for ways to develop our careers. Look for tools that can develop our careers or tools that can help us with job search. Make the effort to attend professional associations, meetings, events, and conferences. I wish I had time. I would have gone on to give you testimonies of people that not only just got jobs by being there for their professional associations, events, and conferences, but that I found them to have developed even themselves to becoming role models too today. And maybe I'm one of them. Build your reputation as a well-connected and valued person. It's not just for you to be connected, but it's also important that you are valued. People know people, but what value can they add? Networking helps to keep you in mind to those that you're looking for when opportunities arise, within or outside your company. Stay informed. It is critical. It is critical that we are informed. Like I mentioned, the journals, industry research, job advertisements. Stay abreast of developments and opportunities in your industry. This gives you a strong indicator of the types of key skills currently in demand. And then you can shift a little bit to meet those needs and make yourself valuable in the future. Next slide, please. I think that takes us to the last segment. How do we market ourselves during this pandemic? The pandemic has taken a lot of jobs away from people. Opportunities have been cut short. People have been disenchanted. They are disappointed. Networking seems to have failed. And all these things that we have propounded may seem not to work. But it's important that we hold three key things, especially now, more than ever. Our networking. Let's network more. Let's create new WhatsApp platforms on areas where we have interest. It could be an area that you know little about, and you need a mechanical engineer as an electrical engineer, and you need you form groups. Use your WhatsApp for those things. WhatsApp is not for social groups or all kinds of things. Old Boys Association alone. Wastewater. What do we know about wastewater? Water treatment, portable water treatment, those things, those kind of areas. We need people to come together and network. Let's network as much as we can. And I did that during this pandemic. And I can tell you that it worked for me. Hitherto, HAZOPs, you have to do the workshop on site. This year, or last year, 2020, I mean, HAZOPs, HAZIT workshops were done online. And you do the workshop and you get the alert. You don't travel to Port Harcourt, you don't go to Warri, you don't go anywhere. You are there in your room. You created a place. The guys are in their different houses, and the workshop was going on. And the owners of the workshop says, we are good with this. We'll continue with what we're doing. For as long as they are satisfied, you are good to go. Even DPR sanctioned it. I mean, approved it. Be able to communicate and clearly articulate to an employer, somebody you know can employ you, your motivation for wanting to work for them. When you know that there is a need there, and you have the opportunity, and you know you can create that opportunity with that man, don't waste that opportunity. The market is competitive. Speak about what you can do. When you write your application, let it be well written, telling what you can do, because you would have researched them well. Don't write an application for Shell when you are going to work with Engineer Badiru. It will not work. Generic applications and answers may lead to disappointment. The same application, just, oh, is it those people? I've sent it. No, don't be the I'm sent it person. Go down, learn a little. Oh, I'll give you in a few days. Hear about what happened there. Do they have a new manager? Do they have a new engineering director? Find out what's going on. Have they bought new machines? Are they planning to buy new equipment? Find out what's going on. What kind of equipment? Why are they looking for this kind of mechanical engineer? And then you put yourself inside. And they say, oh, he knows about this machine. Let's call him for interview. And somebody says, but he has a third class. He says, are you looking at the third class or somebody who can solve your problem for you? So let's not be the generic application person. I remember the story of Tony Elumelu. He said his first job, he knew that he would not be employed. He had a tutu. So he went and started his master's in a university, or I think it was master's, can't remember, MBA or master's. And then this opportunity came. He wrote the application. He told them he was doing his master's, and then he put a cover letter. He didn't stop there. He found a way to meet Mr. Banigo, who later became a minister, who was the MD of that bank, and told him that if you would, and he worked there smartly. So, according to his testimony, he was neatly dressed. And the man said, are you really looking for a job? He said, yes. You have not finished. He said, I'll be finishing the master's very soon. And he got a job. Look at him today. It's the same attitude. I wish he was my friend then. Maybe I would have gone, further than I am now today. Next slide, please. So, two things I've mentioned about the pandemic: communication and network. And I'm still there. Understand what it is you are bringing to the organization in terms of skills and knowledge. At this stage, all your experience at club, I'm not talking of that club where you go every Friday night. I'm talking of those clubs that will enhance your social worth, like the Lions Club, like the Toastmasters, like, you know, the clubs are there. They are not drinking clubs. Even they have no problems with a drinking club if you know you are doing it responsibly. Then your society, the church, your experience with uh, uh, your alumni associations, your 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 all those associations, your memberships in engineering, in other, NSC, your discipline engineering, overseas engineering relationships, and all of that. And then your volunteering. I have someone in my office today that I just decided to employ. He's been a volunteer since before the pandemic. And this year I said, you're joining us. Part-time jobs. You are there today, they don't need you tomorrow. They are there today, they don't need you tomorrow. Whatever experience you can gather there, please let it be. Don't be ashamed that you took a part-time job. Don't say, oh, I can't put this part-time this year. I'm looking for it. If you get that job, how are you going to perform when you have even this part-time? You can just put it at the bottom of it, the last rungs of your resume, and you'll be surprised. Your love for music, for sports, all those things. Internships. Where have you been interned? With or without pay? Put it there. Let the experience count work for you. Have you worked for your family? How have you enhanced your mother's business? No matter how small it is. A lot of people are digitally agile today. Embrace technology. I just talked about one. Hands Up Now workshop online. It's not a local thing. They're doing it all over the world today. Embrace technology for professional purposes. And then be flexible and resilient. These are important attributes to maintain during these difficult times. Opportunities will come in any form and in any way. Don't let them slip by. Go for them, provided they would enhance your worth and you'll be able to perform. Next slide, please. Can you articulate how you spent your time during the pandemic, such as working on a project, big or small? Or were you just sleeping throughout the pandemic? Were you volunteering? Did you learn a new skill? Family business? A friend's business? I spoke with somebody yesterday. Said he was doing a job for a friend. It was a big job. He'd been on the job for like 3 or 4 months as a project manager. Now, if he didn't have the skill of working for a friend, how would he be able to take up that job? Oh, he would say, I can't work for a friend. He will not pay me my money. But he took the job. He knows that whatever it is, there's a gain there. He cannot stand in the house, stay in the house, I beg your pardon, for 3, 4 months without a job. Questions will be asked. Madam will not be happy. The children will say, what is daddy doing all the time in the house? All these are important to demonstrate how adaptable and motivated you are. I want to give an advice on application rejections. If you've had your application rejected many times, apart from what I have on the slide, I can tell you that anytime I put an application, not in the newspaper, just on the platforms, I get so many. And some people, one-page CV, obviously he has not worked before in a place, but he's even not articulate enough to say that I haven't really been gainfully employed. And to put it to you that he is ready to work and do whatever it is that you have for him to do. So you just, a lot of applications just go, they get thrown out. It's like, I don't know. So what the advice is that, and then there are others who want to impress. They put all kinds of things. You can even hardly, they have like 13 pages, and then the font is like 9 or 10. You can hardly read what is written there. And it's all mumbo jumbo of what he says he can do, which you cannot verify. So if you have found yourself in that category, please get your style of application and cover letter check. It doesn't have to be HP. It doesn't have to be driven by Google. It doesn't have to be driven by all these search engines that we talked about. All you need to do is to sit down with somebody, an HR person, who has been bored by all kinds of applications. And I am sure he or she will be able to assist you in making your resume effective, simple, and ready to go, including your cover letter. To get them checked. It's not easy. You know, when you write applications in this digital age, there's so much competition, and then you, oh, I can't get it now. They're looking for 15 years experience. No, look for the ones that is suitable for you, suited to you. Because if you have too many rejections, it leads to complacency.